All right, Randy Bueller, Brian David Marshall, we are going to get to a sealed pool that Devigot Holness used to win a Grand Prix trial yesterday. He earned himself 2 buys today. We know this deck can win, Randy.
Okay.
We just need to figure out how he got there.
All right, let's see it.
Okay, let's start off with the white cards. What leaps out to you from, these are all the white cards that Devigot potentially could play with in his sealed deck.
2 times Ornithark. Ornithark is, in my opinion, the best uncommon in the set. I mean, if it was rare, I think it would be in contention to be one of the best rares in the set. I mean, it's just, you get these dilemmas, which of these rares would you first pick, first pack? Like, normally they're just kind of funny things to think about, but it comes up with Ornithark. Like, this card is...
a virtual rare?
Yeah, it's like he got 2 bonus rares in his pool with this.
What makes this card so insane to you?
I mean, the thing is, it's a dilemma, right? It's a tribute card, but it doesn't matter what they say. It's 5 power worth of flyers either way. 5 power worth of flyers for 5 mana is just an awesome bargain in sealed deck.
Right, and if they decide to give you the 3/3 and 2 1/1s, that generally means maybe they're going to lightning strike your 3/3, but then you still have 2 1/1s.
Exactly. I'm almost happy when they do that, because when they give me the 5/5, I figure they've got a way to kill it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, 2 Ornitharks is awesome. I mean, the rest of this white pool looks solid too, right? He's got
Spear of Heliod. I mean, while you're looking at rares, like
right,
actual rare Spear of Heliod. That's
and another actual rare in Silent Sentinel.
Right, which is a card you would almost. I don't think I would ever even look at in terms of a draft card.
Right, 7 mana in a booster draft format, it's probably too slow. You're really not going to play this card, but
certainly in the decks that I think you and I like to draft in this
I'm
format.
always white heroic, sure. I think though that in sealed deck, it's very relevant.
Right,
like you're probably going to play this card in sealed deck. Right,
so whenever it attacks, you get to return an enchantment card,
and 2 of Reserve and Elsiad's hanging out, a Hopeful Eidolon. God's Willing Chosen. Yeah, the white here seems deep enough. It's got the top end is spectacular. I'll be surprised if we don't wind up playing white. One card we should talk about while we're here, though, is 2 times Loyal Pegasus.
Right. Again, we were talking about how in draft, I think you and I both really like this card. We want to.
Not everybody likes it.
No, not everybody. That's why I certainly qualified the statement. I was like, you and I, we could be wrong. I mean, I like to be red-white heroic. I like to be white-blue heroic with a lot of cheap flyers and cheap creatures.
Yes. Yeah, it can be very good. The most powerful draft decks in the format, I think, are these super aggressive decks. But
keep in mind, we talked about the fact that you sometimes draw first in sealed.
Right.
Can you imagine drawing first
into Loyal
and playing Loyal Pegasus in the same deck? It doesn't seem very
likely.
Yes, I'm
more likely to have a 2-drop, but yeah. Loyal Pegasus, clearly worse in sealed. I don't know that I would play it in this deck. I mean, I can still think there are sealed decks where you would play Loyal Pegasus, but it would be because you got dealt the super aggressive curve. And
absolutely.
Like, you're trying to do your best imitation of that hyper draft deck. That's not what this deck is. This deck wants to be late game. It wants to have time to play the Ornitharks. It wants to have time. Yeah, I'm going to play. I don't think Silent Sentinel and Loyal Pegasus ever go in the same deck. How about that?
Here's another card we talked about. We haven't talked about Acolyte's Reward. Like that card is a pretty powerful finisher, right? It lets you do a lot of damage that people are not expecting to see.
That's a good point.
I'm curious to see if that ends up playing deck. But we at this point,
we're almost certainly playing white.
Almost certainly play white. It would require 2 very deep colors to push you off
to talk us out of this. Yeah, hard to imagine, but we'll see.
And then maybe we're looking at what we're going to pair with this. So let's take a look at the Ooh in Wooburg. There you see the blue cards.
Yeah, Vaporkin, Divination, Wave Crash Titan, maybe Retraction Helix. This is not deep.
I could see a light blue.
Exciting.
Like if you have enough white, if you had like 20 white cards and you wanted 3 cards to play, maybe.
Yeah, there weren't 20 white cards though.
Yeah, no, there weren't.
This feels like you could splash a couple of these blue cards, but even there, I'm not sure the power level is high enough.
Let me ask you a question. When you see something like this, you already know you have a color that you're. Is it a relief to you, almost, to get a color that's just kind of like meh?
Okay, I know I'm not playing this. You definitely are hoping in sealed deck that your good cards line up in 2 colors.
Right.
And like blue, we didn't waste any of the power on blue.
Right.
We can move on.
Okay, so let's go on to red.
Or black.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, black, yeah.
It's an ordeal.
As Lash of the Whip, it's a fine removal, like a good splashable even removal spell. Ordeal of Erebos.
I mean, Servant of Timrat's a fine man.
Painseer, there's, we talk about rares a lot.
So I'm happy to own the Painseer, having opened it in this sealed deck.
Right.
I'm not going to run it in sealed, though. It's just, you have too many high drops in your deck. It's just going to hurt.
Maybe if you had like a black-red aggro Mogus deck.
Right. I can imagine limited decks where you want to run Painseer, but not this one.
And then another card that's interesting to me here in black is Servant of Timurat as just like, I mean, the card's fine in draft, actually.
Yeah.
But in sealed, it seems like it really shines. I always expect every time I play a sealed deck match and my opponent goes first, I expect them to play a forest.
Yeah, this feels similar to blue, though, in that I'm not playing this color. Like,
right, there's
no
like, premium removal, no premium creatures.
There doesn't have the 2 or 3 super powerful cards to splash. It doesn't have the depth to have as a main.
Right. I mean, you have Lash of the Whip and Weight of the Underworld, which are removal spells.
I'm really going to splash a color for those?
But yeah, I don't.
I'm not splashing for those.
Yeah.
They're not that good.
Okay, now the red.
Red?
Boulder Fail.
Crow and Conscriptor.
Yeah, Crow. I can tell you, I love Ill-Tempered Cyclops in sealed.
It's good.
I
good.
think it's better than good. I think this guy is like, he is like, Johnny Gomes. Like he's like, statistically underrated. This card has trample. It lets you sink your mana, 6 mana into it, become a really formidable creature.
Is more relevant in sealed.
And like I love that card. I mean, it's actually a card I look for when I open a sealed pool.
Yeah, the Monstrosity ability is only single red too.
Right.
It's very splashable. Bolt of Keranos is another good card here, but they're giving it to double red. Like, we've already got double white in the deck. I mean, this red is. We could totally pair with this red.
Everflame Eidolon's a nice.
3 Kragmaw Butchers. He's a good man.
Now, Kragmaw Butcher's a card that's like one of the best red commons, right? Like
but it's another one of those that's better in the hyper aggressive deck.
That's what I'm wondering.
Than the sealed deck. I mean, here I think he's just he's a solid man.
But could we build now a red white deck with the Loyal Pegasus, 3 Kragmaw Butchers? Are there enough 2-drops in here?
I don't think so. I mean, the Eidolon, I don't think there's.
Yeah, it doesn't feel.
But red's a legitimate maybe. I mean, let's see what the green has, but this is a legitimate option.
All right. So Leaf Crown Dryad, great card. Nessian Courser, really good utility infielder.
Ordeal, Time to Feed.
I love Grave Robber Spider. Also, if you were going to splash any of that black removal, like, you also get the bonus pump ability on the Grave Robber Spider.
Sure.
Nyxborn Wolf, just an excellent card, like early and mid game. Ferris Band Raiders I think a legitimate sealed deck bomb.
I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the inspired cards are too slow for draft,
right,
to really have time to take over the game. But we talked about the tempo difference. Sealed deck, I think, is where the inspired's really going to shine as a mechanic. All
right, there we see Setessan Oathsworn. Now we know there's 2 ordeals. We know there's a black ordeal and we see this green ordeal. Setessan Oathsworn plays very, very well with the double heroic because it gets 2 counters. You get to play an ordeal and trigger it the turn if you have an Oathsworn or a Star Warriors, but there's not really.
This green. I think I like this green better than the red, but we do have 1 slide left that maybe.
Sure, artifacts, gold cards, land. This is a lot of times where the missing piece of your deck will come together.
Because you might open a Shipwreck Singer, 2-mana card that can absolutely take over a game. Shipwreck Singer's awesome.
One of the premium uncommons. I like Horizon Chimera a lot, just as
he's good.
A really solid flyer that lets you sort of steal back some tempo in the game with a little bit of life gain, especially if we have that divination that we saw. Also, you're divination, gain 2, draw 2.
The answer is here, though.
Oh, Steam Augury?
Steam Augury is not the answer.
I feel I gotta take a moment to just feel really bad for Steam Augury. Like, when you're a baseball fan.
Yeah.
The next Ted Williams, the next Don Mattingly. I mean, the next Joe DiMaggio, the next Steve Garvey. Like teams have always sort of heralded the next
with the curse.
Yeah. The next Factor Fiction is not what I want. If I'm an R&D designing a blue instant, I don't want my blue instant to be called the next Factor Fiction.
It's not even clear Steam Augury is the next divination. Your opponent's got 4 mana and doesn't do anything. You're like,
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm like,
it's just Steam Augury.
Yeah,
okay.
Take this cruddy pile. But
Fleece Mane Lion is the answer here. Fleece Mane Lion is spectacular. It's rare. It deserves to be rare. It's undercosted. It slices. It dices. We're playing green-white.
Right. So, I mean, that's what we think. I mean, it's possible.
I'm playing green-white with this pool.
It's possible that Devigot played something else, but I mean, it seems unlikely.
Yeah, I mean, the Opaline Unicorn Traveler's Amulet is worth noting, too. We've got the tools if we wanted to splash a 3rd color.
So we could splash a Magma Jet.
Ordeal. We could splash, Magma Jet and the Conscriptor out of red, maybe.
Yeah, you can't splash Bolt of Keranos at RR.
No way. No, yeah, you could splash red, but now it really comes down to like, well, how many cards are there, right? Now is where I'm going to take my good green and white cards. I'm going to look at the curve. I'm going to look at the playables, and maybe I get to 23 without needing to splash, or maybe 22. Maybe those last couple cards are kind of bad, and now I do start looking at Unicorn Amulet to get a couple red cards in.
Right. So let's go back through these slides now. Let's look at color by color what cards he played in his deck. So let's take a look back at the white cards.
Easy.
Yeah.
Ornithark into the deck. Spear, Alciad. Yeah, good solid. He is playing Silent Sentinel, and he's not playing Loyal Pegasus.
He's playing Contested Batteries. Now, I got to say, Acolyte's Reward is a little surprising to me. I think
in the sideboard.
I think that's a card that I really want to play main deck. I really like it. I mean, again, he's got a lot of, he can put out a lot of good white permanents on the board and, swing the game around, 4 or 5 points in a combat, that just goes to the dome, or you get really close.
Yeah.
You Alpha Strike, your opponent blocks, you're like, great.
Yeah,
then that damage
it is a little bit situational. Like, it's not going to help you on a blank board, but it's good.
No, absolutely, yeah. But yeah, this is no Loyal Pegasus,
right?
No Scholar of Athreos, which probably means
no black.
No black. No Greatheart, which just means this guy's done a little play testing.
Fair enough.
Let's take a look if he played any blue cards with these white cards.
Yeah, this is not good.
Right, when we were looking at it, we were like, okay, no blue.
Yep.
Okay, looking at the black, which we don't think he played. Nope.
Yeah,
he's like, he keeps his Pain Seer in super mint condition.
There you go.
Going on to
but
red.
Did he splash?
Did he splash? No.
Okay.
So, I guess in sealed Magma Jet's probably a little worse, right? Like fewer creatures that you want to kill with a Magma Jet.
Scry might be a little better, but I mean, if you can play a 2-color deck, I'd rather play a 2-color deck. I mean, Magma Jet is not so good that it's worth adding.
A Crowan Conscriptor, on the other hand, might be a really good reason to splash red, but.
So green then, right?
And 2 Portna Betrayals, which we missed the first time looking through it.
I don't know if I'm going to splash for those, but
okay. So we're left with green. There's got to be a lot of green cards here. Yeah. So he just left 5 green cards in his sideboard. Aspect of Hydra, 2 Calling Mark, to defend the Hearth. Played everything else. Makes a lot of sense. I'm curious though if he splashed any black. Just put a swamp to do you play like a swamp or 2?
I don't. No, because he's got double white, double green.
Right.
I mean, he's got Swordwise Centaur in the same deck with Ornithark. He's going to have to be even mana probably.
So you don't think the Opaline Unicorn or the Traveler's Amulet make it into the deck? Let's take a look at that next slide. Yeah, just the Fleecemane Lion. Okay, so is that I'm trying to add this up in my head. Is that 22 cards or 23 cards? Because I got to tell you, with 6 drops, 7 drops, monstrous on Fleecemane Lion.
Yeah. This feels like an 18 land deck.
I kind of want 18 lands. Yeah.
Well, let's see what he did.
Let's take a look.
17 land.
Okay.
He split. 9 forest, 8 plains. You got to go with more forest because they've got the the GG Centaur. So that makes sense to me.
I guess he's got the Ordeal of Nylea.
That is the 18th land.
That's kind of the 18th land. The Chosen by Heliod is like the 18th and a half land.
Yep. Yeah, no, sometimes if you're not sure 17 versus 18, but what you put in is a cantrip, a card that just draws another card, that makes sense. It's a good deck.
Yeah,
see why he won.
I think this is pretty much easy mode of the decks we're going to look at today. Like, this is exactly what you want, right? You want to open up a pool, find 4
white rares.
Yeah, just like
the Ornitharks,
just great cards, and just go. Okay, I'm gonna build around here. And there's certainly some decisions. He certainly could have splashed, but I think he didn't try to outthink himself. He just built like the bluntest hammer he could out of these cards.
Yeah, and the thing is, with the power level this high, you don't want to get tricky. You don't want to splash. You don't want to add inconsistency to your deck. You just want to make sure you have time to play your super awesome, powerful cards.
You don't want to top deck a Traveler's Amulet on turn 8 when you
and I think that's why we would have been tempted with the 18th land, but he sort of got it with the Ordeal and the Chosen.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, this really makes me want to go on to Magic Online and play some sealed deck.
Sounds good.
We got 1,600 people in the room who are playing sealed deck, and we're going to, be following them all day until we get to do some drafting tomorrow. Randy Bueller, Brian David Marshall.